Hi guys, Lovebook Trianglelindsey here, and this video will be my February wrap-up and book haul. A few books this month. It's a lot less than the last month, but I just had some moments when I didn't want to have reading moments, and that's always okay. It wasn't like a big reading slump. It just, I want to read some days and other days with stuff that happened that day. I just wanted to relax and get some other things done. I finished 2 books from the Eagle Elite series this month. I finished Illicit and I finished Ember, and then in the back of one of the books there was a little novella, Enamour, and I read that as well. I don't have the other book to show you because I already started getting stuff together for my ApolloCon trip. So that book's put away. This one isn't coming with me though because it's a 3-book limit and I already have my 3. I was quite hoping there is some characters that the books involve that I can't really tell you about because then I will be spoiling something pretty huge. But I'll just say in Illicit, the main character that it follows, I just kind of felt like it was a lot about the troubles of a relationship, and it was again like kind of at the beginning of how the series started for me. I just wanted more of the mafia part, and I just didn't get that. I mean, yeah, there were some things, like some big things that do happen, but the character that it follows this time around, I felt like he was just more loving and carefree, or a more lovable character. In the other books, I know there are some major things he's dealing with in here, but he was just a different person that I didn't care for as much as who we got with before. And it's funny because I felt like he came back more in the other books. This character in here was kind of interesting to go through his head and his thought process from how he is now compared to how he was at the beginning of the series. But I know I said the other one just had some relationship issues going on in there, but this one just had it way more than the other one, and it was a lot about, it was just a lot about like the relationship and the issues going on with it. I mean, the reasoning that they give in the story is nice for why she fought for him, but it was just a little too much for me in here, and there were some big intense moments in here that happened as well, but I just wasn't as in love with these as some of the other books of the series. But I'm still excited to continue because I know there's a lot more to be done, because there's also a lot more books to be read. This wasn't on my TBR this month, but I've read Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi, and I actually got almost this whole book read in a day because I was pulled for jury duty and I sat a lot waiting. So I got to read a whole lot of this book, and originally I never was gonna pick it up or anything, but I just heard so much hype about it. So glad I did. This was my favorite read this month. The world that this follows is really interesting. There are magi and magic that has disappeared, and all of a sudden this stuff is happening that's coming back. The people who have this magic have white hair, and they are easily identified, and they are frowned upon. Quite sad, because I think having these powers and abilities is something special. People are scared, and there's something that gets taken from the palace, something pretty huge that can affect magic coming back. And the girl who takes it is someone important. Again, not trying to ruin anything. And she meets up with our other main character, and it's a whole journey of what they do with this object. And this story is told from a few different points of view, which is nice as well. I gave this book a 4.5 out of 5 stars. One thing that I just didn't like is the relationship in this book. I don't know why I just put it in quotes, because it just started off as not really something and then kind of gets to something. So don't know why I put the quotes there. But the relationship, I feel, was unnecessary, especially for the characters in this book. Both the male and female have such strong opinions about certain things, and it just seems like they saw a girl, they saw a boy, and they threw all those feelings and ambitions to the wind because, oh, I have a crush on him now. So I just didn't like how easily they gave up some of their beliefs for this other person without really knowing a little more about that person first. So that's just one thing that bothered me in the story, but otherwise I'm just really glad that I did pick this up, and I'm excited for the next one. I listened to the audiobook of Better When He's Brave by Jay Cronover. This is the third and last book in her Welcome to the Point series, and this one was okay. I'm not going to lie, there were some points towards the end of the book when I was listening. I was doing something else and I just got more invested in what I was doing, but I'm glad I continue with this series. I mentioned before the first book I just didn't like at all, but I ended up continuing with the second and third, and they were a lot better. The lead guy in this story is a cop, and just his thought process of dealing with his brother who is a criminal and trying to do the right thing. He just struggles with some of the choices, and you could just tell that he's a good guy. Didn't really care for the lead girl as much. Still a pretty good character, but she was trying to right some of her wrongs and stuff. But I think the second book in this series is my favorite. Then I read the ebook of A Very Large Expanse of Sea by Tahira Mafi. I got the ebook from my library. I was on a waiting list for a very long time, so I was very glad to finally receive it. It was a quick read for me. I didn't think it was going to be what it was. If you don't know any background of the story, it takes place pretty much after September 11th, and there is this girl who has the same culture as, well, what happened with September 11th and stuff, and she wears the head wrap. She gets criticized for it. She gets made fun of for it, and it goes to a lot more extremes than just making fun. It goes to people beating her up, taking their scarf off and trying to choke her with it, and it's pretty extreme. And I thought the story was going to be more about that and her dealings of these cruel people around her, and we did get some of that in the story, but it was a high school girl. I didn't expect that. I just knew the very basics of the story before going into it, and the story starts out with some of the things that have happened to her, and it's just horrific. I just can't believe the stuff that happened even back on September 11th, in those years when that stuff happened. It's just appalling that you could blame people who don't even have any connection to something that happened and just blaming them just because of how they look. So it was just devastating to hear the stuff that she went through. I mean, I know it's a character, but I'm sure this stuff is based off of experiences that other people have been through. At times, it was hard to feel for her in certain situations because she was almost just as bad, well, not to the point of hurting someone, but with her thought process, just as bad as some of her peers, because she just wouldn't give anyone a chance either because of who they were. And I get that when you go through some experiences that could shut you down to other people and being cautious about things, but to me, it was like she just had as much hate as some of the other people. And one of the other characters she interacts with in the story it was just nice that he was showing he didn't care. He put a lot at risk or on the line to prove, like, this doesn't matter to me, that he would care for his friend because of who she was on the inside, not of her appearance on the outside. It was a good read. It just wasn't what I thought it was, but I'm still glad I read it. I want to say I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars or a 3.5. So that is what I read this month. Like I said, not as great as last month, but still some good books read. And this month I only got 2 books. I got Mother Knows Best by Serena Valentino. This is her collection of villains. I'm so glad I have this new one. Found it at Half Price Books. It was 20% off that day, and they had a gift card, so free to me. So here's Mother Gothel on this side. And on the inside, when she's old. Just love these covers. They're so fun. And I'm excited to read this one. I'm curious what kind of backstory or what they will have about her. Then it's funny because this next one, I was at Goodwill with my dad. They just have really good prices on things. Paperbacks are 99 cents, and that day my dad had a 20% off coupon, so this was 20% off. It was funny because my dad and I were talking, standing near a bookshelf, and I just kind of went, oh my god, and then I went and I just grabbed it from the shelf, which was pretty close to where my dad was standing. He's like, what's going on? And I was really excited because I found What If It's Us by Becky Albertalli and Adam Silvera, and I just thought it was really cool. What got me excited was it's in ARC form as well, which I know, like, it's not an ARC anymore because this came out in October, but I was just really excited because I think having different copies of things are pretty cool, and I just wanted to read this one, so I just couldn't believe I was getting it for like 80 cents. So I thought that was super awesome. Freaked my dad out for a moment there. But I'm just glad. I'm just glad to have it. So that's it for this month. My reading and my short little book haul there, but that's good because that means not spending money. And tell me down below what you read this month, if you got any new books to add to your collection. See you later, guys. Bye.